if it'll go.
Think we're up live.
We are live.
Hey, everybody.
What's going on, everyone?
Good evening.
Hello, hello.
Everybody say what's up to Rev Resale.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, everybody. Thank you guys for coming. I greatly appreciate it. Oh, sorry, guys. For all of you who might be new, I am Kat. I'm the nurse flipper. And I want to thank you all for being here. I just hit 700 subscribers too. So thank you everybody for that. We're going to try and go over with you guys kind of like how to decide with your listings if you want to do some auctions versus buy it now. And if you guys have any questions throughout the whole thing, hi, Karina, my sister-in-law's in there. If you guys have any questions about anything, just let us know. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. We'll let everybody introduce themselves and then we'll get started. Chris, you want to hit it first?
Sure. Again, my name's Chris. I'm Flip with Chris on YouTube. My eBay store is 28 Resale. I've been doing this since November. I'm strictly part-time. That's really all the time I have for it. I'm a full-time dad and husband and a full-time job, even though right now my job is out due to school closings. But nonetheless, I enjoy it. I love the sourcing part of it. I love the anatomy of a listing part of it, selling part of it, the Chi-Ching part of it. But I really enjoy the business end of it, the profits, how to get those higher, and the whole analytics of it. So that's kind of the angle I run through it. But again, my name's Chris, and I appreciate y'all coming.
Who's up? Me?
Yeah, Calvin.
Yeah, Calvin, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Calvin. I am the Kelly Hustle. That's my YouTube channel. Been doing eBay for a little over a year now, part-time. Just on Friday, that was my last day working a full-time job. So Monday, I started. I'm officially a full-time reseller now. So timing is a little crazy with everything that's going on. But yeah, I'm a full-time reseller now, and initially just started out doing eBay and reselling for some extra cash. Wanted to make like $500 extra a month. One thing led to another, and you just kind of fall in love with it. You start doing it more, and you realize the potential in reselling. Just with a little bit of commitment and persistence, reselling can definitely be a great opportunity for you to make some really good money. It really just depends on your situation. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for coming. Hopefully we can have some fun tonight.
Hey man, well I'm David. I'm a Reverend Resale here on YouTube. I'm a full-time pastor and a fun-time reseller. So as of recently, I guess I'm a full-time reseller too. The church, I'm still, of course, visiting and doing all the things that I can, really preaching the messages online now because we're not able to gather at the church. So I guess now I'm a e-commerce pastor as well. So that's new for me. But it's been fun. I've been selling on eBay probably for 6 or 7 years, started rebuilding carburetors and selling those. And probably a couple years ago, I started reselling the everything, whatever you can find that would sell for profit. And been on YouTube almost, I'm still in my rookie year. So pretty pleased to be here and hang out with these cool people.
We're glad to have you, man. Thank you.
Chris, since you wanted to talk about like the auction versus buy it now, do you want to kind of give us your thoughts about when you decide to do auction versus buy it now?
Most definitely. So I have, I don't have a huge following on Instagram and whatnot, or on YouTube as well. I'm getting close to almost 200 subscribers, which is awesome. I never thought I'd have one. But the one of the main questions I get a lot is when you have an item, the decision to make it between auction versus buy it now. And a lot of people ask me to kind of audit their stores. And one thing I notice is they have a lot of auctions. And I asked them, I said, why are you running the auction? And they kind of just thought, they don't really have no thought process behind why they chose auction versus the buy now. And I always kind of preface it this way. I said, well, kind of thinking like this, and I've kind of said this analogy before, is like, if I want to go buy a car in a car lot, which is a relatively new car, used car, like a 2013 truck, and I go to the lot, that Ford F-150, there's tons of them around town. I can go to any lot around my area in a 30-mile radius, and they'll have the one I want. So I'll just go and buy it now. But if I wanted a 1957 Chevy, cherried out, everything cool, I'm going to have to go to auction. So when I start listing my items, I have to think about it in that way, that if I have an item that I know is very sought after and there's not that many out there, I'm going to put it at auction, because I want a bidding war. I want to see how far that can go. Now I have a product that's, there's a lot of listings for it. I'm going to do it, buy it now, and I'm going to try to be competitive with the other listings that are out there. So that's how I kind of see it. Only use auction when it's really necessary, I guess, because there's so many pitfalls to auctions and so many different angles that, what time do I start it at? Some people get stuck when they, start the listing or end the listing like a Sunday morning or right before church or something like that, and someone snipes in and gets a really good price, and they're like, what happened? They didn't put a reserve price on it or something like that, but they don't know these things. But that's one of the biggest questions I get is like, how should I list? I'm like, for me, most of my products are buy it now. Now I do occasionally do an auction every now and then, but it's because it's something that may create a bidding war and create more value and get more money for that item. I currently have 1 or 2 listings right now at auction. Like I have a lot of Reed Patagonia hats. I just put out there. I just like, I'm going to do an auction on these. Right now I have 30 watchers on that, I think. So I didn't know what the value might be, but I'm thinking I may do pretty well the way it is on that. But otherwise, I'll do it buy it now. There's very, very few items I would do auctions with, unless it's, like I said, like very sought after.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I just did a few auctions. And I have 1,500 listings and 3 auctions right now. So what's that, 1.5%? Right. So for me, there's a couple of reasons. If I don't know the value of it, then that's one reason that I would do it. Like I have my Buddha that they didn't pay for. So like the carved Buddha, it got bid up to 142. They haven't paid, but I will probably put it up on auction again. I had a lot of views, a lot of bids, but I paid $1.50. So I started that auction at $50, $49.99. So my big thing for my auctions is my starting price is what I'm willing to take.
Correct.
So I'm not going to start it at 99 cents. My lowest I'd start an auction at is probably $9.99. And they're going to pay shipping. I would never do free shipping on an auction. That's their cost. Unless, of course, you have it built into the starting bid. But I generally don't do free shipping anyways. And then the other reason, like you were saying, is if it's something that's so popular that it's going to get, like my Dymo had like 40 watchers. It was crazy. And they haven't paid either. But that happens with buy it nows too. But that'll probably get put back on auction because I disclosed in the listing, like, look, every 3 days I have to turn this stupid thing off and back on again. But it works perfectly after you do that. I got a new one from Josh from Harry Tornado for a really great price. So that's the only reason I'm selling mine. Otherwise, it was functioning perfectly. And I disclosed that, and it went up to like $137. So I'll probably throw it up again, $50. Like I'm happy with $50. And if it goes up, it goes up. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Do you do auctions, David?
Yeah, I do just like y'all. Very, very few. I've done some Redline Hot Wheels, just because the demand is high and how many people and specifics are real low. A lot of times I'll see the items that have sold, and you can tell if they sell at auction. Sometimes it works in your favor, but I'm like you. I start my auctions high unless it's one of those almost donated items, one of those things that if I have a lot of something and I really don't want it, I'm trying to get rid of it, I may start it half shipping and then start it at a low price. And if it sells for 99 cents, it's no different than me taking it to the Goodwill. But I very rarely do those auctions. Most of the time, if I know what they sell for, know how much they usually go for, I may, I'll do buy it now and put best offer, even if I want to take offers. So, and sometimes if you don't know the value of the item, you can do the pie in the sky number and then put best offer, and it gives you the same flexibility that an auction would.
I know for me being a reseller, and I'm on eBay looking for a good deal, I'm constantly looking at auctions that are ending in the weirdest times.
Yeah,
people will slip if you're a rookie, and you'll let things go that are very valuable for a low price, and that's what I'm looking for. So on the other end of it, I'm not going to be doing a whole bunch on auctions unless I know what I'm going to get. So that's just kind of how I look at it.
me too. Yeah, I've got a lot of cards.
Right?
There's a lot of times I've been able to go in and swipe trading cards that that you normally would not have been able to get for $2.50 ship, but because they had it on auction and started it at 99 cents, you were able to get a steal. So
exactly.
I don't do that, but I don't mind buying from those that do.
Right.
I've gotten a couple of things off auction that they auctioned, and they started it low and they did free shipping. So if they're going to put that out there, I'm going to take advantage of it. And shipping was more than what I paid. And I knew that was going to be the case. And
I think there are a lot of people that do volume, and they just put almost everything and started at that price. I don't see how they make it. I mean, they must have volume. I don't know how they do it. And they probably don't do it long.
Yeah, the one that I won, it was like a tricycle for the baby. But the one that I won it off of, all their auctions, they started at 99 cents with free shipping. And they were like in California. And I was like, I know this tricycle is going to cost like 20 something bucks just to ship to me. And I think the bidding went to like 18 or 19 bucks. And it was like a $50 tricycle. But I just was like, okay. But they probably, I'm sure they look at that, I would hope. But, let me add Calvin back in here. That, like, for me, I didn't run any auctions for like 5 or 6 months. I think if you want something to sell and you started at the lowest price you're willing to take, then that works to get stuff out. I will do it to get stuff out too. But like I said, I won't do under like $9.99. Mm-hmm. And if I already have money, if that lot's already in the profit, so basically zero cost. Hi.
This is Emmy.
Hi, Emmy.
Say hello. All right, go to bed, baby. I love you.
Good night.
Where's Camden?
Yay, Dale made a sale. That rhymes.
She's up late tonight. I just feel for a new reseller, an auction has so many areas where you can trip up. From shipping to where do you start the bidding price at, to do I add a reserve? Do I do a buy it now? Also offer best offer? I don't even know. There's so many factors that for a new reseller, I would just stick with buy it now unless you know what you got.
I agree. And it used to be like, I was on eBay back in 1999. And when I was on, it was all auction, and it was like almost everybody did like 99 cent auctions. That was back in the day of they paid with a money order. But, now it's total opposite, and you're going to get typically way more money from buy it now than you are from an auction. Unless you have something that everybody wants. Some of like the newer expensive cell phones, those do okay on auction because people are fighting for them. But I agree with Chris. For new resellers, I would probably stay away from auctions. Calvin, do you do auctions?
I've done a couple of auctions, and not really much. The ones I have done auctions on are like a couple of cameras that were broke, so they weren't working. So I just put those on auction, set it at like a $10 or whatever the case is, and kind of just let it roll right there. I haven't really found any. I guess I have, but for the most part, yeah, just going with buy it now. My father-in-law actually. He does sell on eBay on a really, really part-time basis, but he's bought on eBay probably since it started. and he was a collector. So whenever he kind of gets tight for money or just wants some extra money to go around, he'll dig into his toy collection, and he has a bunch of cool toys that are one-off items. So he does nothing but auctions on his stuff. And I tell him all the time, I was like, yeah, your model with the stuff that you have, yeah, auctions are going to work best for you because, you know, there's not going to be a lot of supply out there.
Yeah.
With Calvin's disappearing a lot on us. Oh.
Yeah, I think
no,
that
I can't even see the stream. I just lost it on mine. But I'm still here as a guest on my phone. Amy, I was saying I can't add you as a mod right now because I can't run YouTube with StreamYard. I have really bad internet, and yeah, so if one of the mods could share the links for our channels, that would be great. I did remember this time Chris's channel, Calvin's channel, and David's channel. I put links in the description of this before it started, so the links to our stores are in the description of this live. And Calvin said he's trying to fix his issue there.
Yeah, I think you know, since we were talking about you know, auctions, I think there are very few reasons to do an auction that it would actually be a plus. But when all of those criteria fall in place, you know, there's nothing wrong with an auction. It makes good sense. But just knowing when that is the educated seller. And sometimes I think you educate yourself when you mess up on auctions and you don't do shipping or you start the price too low and then you're kicking yourself. So all it takes is one or two of those times and you figure out I'm not going to do that again. So sometimes the best thing to do is learn by making mistakes. If you don't want to listen to smart YouTubers like us, you can do it yourself and make mistakes and you won't do it again.
That's right.
Right. And hopefully not a big money mistake.
Yep. I've even known people to sell something and because they made a mistake, they canceled it. And I think you know, that's kind of a double whammy. I mean, you know, if you made the deal as a seller and it was your mistake, I think you ought to take the bullet and go on and mail it, ship it, do whatever you've got to do to get it there.
Yeah, I agree that if you did it, it's your fault. You need to follow through. Like I see people saying all the time, like, oh, somebody else offered me this after the first person bought it. And like, don't do that. Just integrity. Like, you sold it to that person. It's theirs. I've lost out on shipping, even calculated shipping, because I had the wrong weight, or when I added packing materials, it was 2 pounds more and cost $5 or $10 more. But that was my bad for not calculating that right. That wasn't a buyer's fault.
Yeah, I hear a lot of complaining about buyers, but man, if they're sellers that are doing that, that's valid complaint there. And I hear a lot of people say, "Well, it's easy, you know, just cancel it. If you sell so many, it won't matter." I don't want to ever do that. I would rather eat my mistake and learn from it, and you know, just keep rolling that way.
More Income had a question. He was wanting to know if anybody else was having a bunch of cancellations. I think I saw you say that on another live. I have not had. I had one that didn't want to pay, and actually it was that Buddha auction because the taxes and import fees were so high for them going into China. But I haven't had any other cancellations other than that myself in probably a month.
I haven't had any cancellations, but what I've had lately is a lot of people not paying. I'm not really sure if that has anything to do with virus or wondering if things are not going to be shipped or whatnot. I don't know, but it's never happened as much as it happened in the last couple of days.
Yeah, I've had some non-payers too. You know, had some. I've got like $100, almost $100 sale that Health and Beauty that they bought 2 lots of 2. And it was yesterday, and they just hadn't paid, and it wasn't it was a buy it now, and it's hung up. So I don't know if it's a global shipping issue or what it is. I just sold two Zepco hats I have two and sold two, $29.98. So there you go, Chris. I can sell Zepco hats too.
That's awesome. Well, I tell you what, I just sold two Tampa Bay Buccaneer hats due to the whole Brady signing with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's as Falcon fans, I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Bring Winston back.
Jeez.
And then let's see. Whoops.
Froggy Flips is in the house, I think.
Joey's here too. Hey, Joey. Don was saying, and I've had this happen actually, I think new resellers, and this is what we were just saying. So I've won auctions that I know like they're out of their mind for doing and they cancel. So if you're a new reseller, 1 or 2 cancellations could lock your eBay account down.
Yeah.
So you got to suck it up, take that mistake, pay for it, and learn from it if you do it. Because I think it's only like 2%. It's pretty low. And if you're only selling like 10 items a week, that means you need to sell 100 to be able to have 2 cancellations without getting dinged. And eBay will, and I've learned this, not recently, luckily, but eBay will drop all of your listings to the bottom of the search, and they're there, but you're not going to sell anything. It's kind of like a little eBay timeout restriction. If you're not meeting their metrics, they're not going to show you to those buyers anywhere near the top.
I think you said it right, Kat. You were talking and you said when you do it, that's what happens when we mess up like that, and we lay an egg. We have to just deal with it and just keep rolling, because cancellations is it's just putting a mark on your account, and that's the last thing I would ever want is buyers not trusting the store, not trusting you as a seller, and then eBay not trusting you. And like you say, you go to the bottom of the searches, just do everything on the up and up, and you'll make that $10, $100 back tomorrow.
While we're talking about non-payment, how do y'all handle non-payment?
I go, if they have not contacted me within 2 or 3 days, I open a case. I send, after the first day, I send a payment reminder. I send a message on the second day usually, and the third day I'm opening a case. And a lot of times I had one to purchase something the other day, a card, like $100 card, and then right as they purchased it, after going through a lot of haggle on the offer, we came to a deal, and then he accepted the deal and then said, "Hey, I'll pay you next Sunday." And it's kind of like, oh my goodness, I'm not that didn't work. That ain't how this works.
There's no layaway plan here.
Yeah, he put it on Rev layaway.
Right. But because he told me, I opened the case as quick as I could, and he eventually paid me, but it was a hassle.
Yeah, I have auto non-paying bidder. 48 hours, it's filed. eBay does it. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your story is. Don't buy something from me if you don't have the money to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like Moore's saying, so like non-payment sucks. So I have this Dymo and this Buddha, $300 worth, sitting for 3 days now. Both do have non-paying bidder cases open on them, but they can't close them for a week.
Is it a week?
So unless I want to cancel that order, like the Dymo person I haven't heard from, the Buddha person, they said that the fees were too high to China. I haven't decided yet if I want to be nice and cancel that order for them, because they bid my auction up and they didn't ask me about any of that prior to bidding. So I might let it go to non-paying bidder. I personally have people blocked. If they have more than 2 non-paying bidder in the last 12 months, they cannot bid on my auctions. They cannot buy my stuff. And I did make one exception. I had somebody email me and she said, I think it's probably one of your parameters. She explained to me, and you can, so if you say you set up to block people with non-paying bidder, you can exclude somebody. So this buyer contacted me. She really wanted it, said she'd pay right away. So there's an exclusion list, like to allow them to skip the rules. So I added her, and she did. She paid right away. She said her daughter had used her account. Stuff didn't get paid for, but she wanted the item bad enough. She messaged me. She explained the story. I added her, and it went very, very smooth. So, I mean, I might be blocking some people that don't deserve it, but I agree with more. Like non-payment is one of my biggest pet peeves.
I have 8 non-payers right now that's sitting on the account. I said I had 5, but 2 of those are duplicate where they've ordered more than one thing. So hopefully I get paid tonight.
Are we just talking about non-payers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. That's what that's somebody had brought it up. I think More Income brought it up in the chat.
And I don't care about blocking a person because there's a billion members to eBay. That one person ain't coming around again. I'm just telling you right now. There's plenty of fish in the sea, but I always try to reach out to the buyer first just to see if there's any kind of situation or whatnot. But yeah, I'm usually a couple days and I'm putting in that case. So
I wish eBay would not take the item off active listing to be sold until it was paid for, because I think
that's how Grailed does. So I just started selling on Grailed, and I got an offer, and I was like, oh, I got an offer, and I was thinking it was like Poshmark or Mercari, where like when I accepted the offer I would get the payment. It's not, and they never paid. But Grailed did not pull my item, so my item was still visible to everybody else because that person who put the offer up hadn't paid.
Yeah. I mean, that just makes sense to me. If there's a one-off item and then they get it and it's tied up for a week, we probably would have sold that item within that week to somebody that was willing to pay. So I think it should go in like your cart, and it's not yours until you pay for it. And I don't even have to know it's in somebody's cart. They can know that, but when it's paid for, I wish they would just say, hey, it's sold, it's paid for, ship it.
So Richard has a question here for advice for new sellers. That's a pretty broad question. I think as a broad answer, I will say do your research. When you're sourcing, when you're listing, make sure you know what you have and what you're going to buy. Don't overpay. You make the money on the buy. You don't make your money on the sale. So definitely research. Like I know I can pick up some stuff that I know will make money because I've been doing it so long. But if you're a new reseller and you don't know, then I would definitely watch that and watch the size of stuff, because when you get into oversized items, the shipping's going to be more.
Definitely do your research.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
To stick to things you know in the beginning, because that's going to allow you to get to know the eBay platform and how to sell things and how to list things. And then you're going to make mistakes and just learn from them. That's it.
Do you guys hear that feedback? I'm hearing it. I heard it when Chris was talking just now. Yeah. Did anybody else hear that feedback, like a echo?
I just have one here, so I'm not a good one to ask.
Do you hear it now?
Nope.
Yeah, Chris, you're echoing.
Is it me?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think the best piece of advice that I would give a new reseller is to do it. You're never going to learn by listening to somebody else really tell you, and you're never going to even learn what we've told you until you do it for yourself. So my dad has about literally 20,000 Hot Wheels that he bought because I sold some. And he is just scared to death to try to sell them on eBay. And I told him, you're never going to do it until you dive in. So the best advice I have for somebody that wants to do that is just to do it. And you'll make your mistakes. You'll learn from them. And, I'm still learning. I've been doing it for a while, and I'm still learning every day.
Yeah, all of those. And then, I would say, have an idea of how much you want to make, what's your intention short term, what's your intentions long term, because then that way you can kind of plan accordingly,
Calvin, now you're echoing too.
Yeah, I hear it.
Like, does everybody have their volume down pretty low?
Yeah, I'm not hearing it, so maybe I'm the one that's doing it.
Somebody else said you're the one. Tommy said Rev's the one doing it.
Oh my goodness. Rev's a newbie here. I don't have a clue what I'm doing wrong. Is it better?
Say
Can you hear
something,
me?
Calvin.
Test.
I think we're
Yep,
okay now.
Test.
Yeah, I think whatever we did, it's better. Richard, if you have any more specific questions as far as for newbies, oh wait, I missed one before that one. Definitely ask us. DJ, I would say for the basic store for me anyways, until like when I went over those listings and started having to pay for individual listings, I switched. I will tell you guys, I'm at premier level, which is $59.99 a month. I have 1,500 listings. The premier only covers 1,000, but depending on when those listings roll over, I have not paid for individual listings. So if stuff's selling before it rolls and I don't hit 1,000 things rolling in that 30 days, I've not had to pay extra, and I'm running with 1,500 items right now. I don't know what level of store everybody else has. Rev, you sell quite, I think David sells quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm not at the bottom store. I think I have like 1,000 listings, whichever one that is.
That's what I have. It jumps from 1,000 to 10,000. Like I'm not going to pay $300. I'll pay 10 cents a listing because that's only 50 extra bucks versus 240 extra. Like I'm going to
just
stay
do
at the
two stores
$60
if you
level.
have that many listings.
Right. What store do you have, Chris?
I'm at basic.
Okay.
Because I'm right now just hovering over 200. I can't get over 200 for some reason. I don't know what it is, but yeah, right now I'm just at the basic, and I think I started that once I started getting around 125 to 150 consistently in my store. So
when would you step up, like from basic up? Like if you could get how many? When do you think you would do that?
Whenever it made sense to where my listings over and above made sense. I mean, a lot of times I think they still give you those. I always still get the coupons where you can get those free listings. So I mean, unless I was exhausting that, I mean, I'd stay where I was at. I mean, you know, it's cool to have the extra coupon for eBay supplies, I guess, but I mean, it doesn't really pan out as far as money wise. So as long as it makes sense to stay for me basic, then I'm just gonna stay.
Yeah, I keep getting emails that tell me that I can level up the store and pay the same price.
But that's for 2 months.
Yes.
They're
that's
you.
what I was thinking. So, and I don't.
I got
need
that
it,
email
so,
yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it if I don't need it. So it's that's sort of where I stand.
Yeah,
Calvin, what are you running, basic?
No, I'm actually just running a starter store.
Okay.
So I'm gonna jump up right now, though. I am gonna jump up. But yeah, no, I've just been running a starter store.
Dale wants to know cross-selling apps and do we use them? I use List Perfectly. It's $29.90 a month. I was paying a virtual assistant to cross-post my listings from eBay to Mercari only, and I would pay her about 35 bucks for 100 listings. And now I've gotten in the habit of when I list new stuff, if it would sell well on Mercari or Poshmark, I automatically cross-post it. So like any clothing, and they have Grailed too. So it's 30 bucks a month, unlimited. And I get Poshmark sales like not super frequently, but several times a week that I wasn't getting before. And Mercari as well, but it's like just a click of a button. Like I'm not doing anything else. It's you with List Perfectly, you have to edit your title a little bit, and you do have to put in the category and the shipping, but other than that, you don't have to do anything. So with me having so many listings, I choose to use List Perfectly just because I'm crunched for time. I don't know if anybody else uses any.
I don't. David, do you sell outside of eBay?
Yeah, I'm eBay only. Just I think just because of time and knowledge, I know eBay, so I don't venture out. Maybe every now and again Facebook Marketplace, but I'm just eBay only. I probably could do more,
Yeah,
but to be honest with
that's
you,
pretty much
I
me.
do enough sales there. I don't need to do much else. Don't have time to do much else.
So a couple of pickers said they have 7,000 heading into 10,000. So do you guys have that premier store, Lisa and Rob? Do you have that big $300 a month? I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any questions, guys. If I did miss one, this is a question from my sister-in-law here. So to determine shipping cost, if you're listing on eBay, which is where I list, you can take the measurements of what you expect the box to get, or expect the box size to be, weigh the item, and you want to add a little bit for the box, the packing materials, and I do calculated. So eBay will actually calculate exactly how much it is from your zip code to your buyer's zip code. So if you're in Florida and you're shipping to somebody in Florida, it might be $8, but if you're shipping to somebody over in California, it might be $12 or $15, and that buyer's going to pay that cost. You would think that, and I've heard a lot of people say that they get less like West Coast sales. I would say over half my stuff goes to California from Florida.
Mine too.
So, and then like Mercari and Poshmark's easy. You don't even have to put a weight in. Poshmark's simple, and Mercari, you just kind of have to guess. They don't have, you can put exact, but it's not as exact as eBay, and they're not as strict. So Mercari, I think, is one of the easier to start on because you have a little more leeway with your shipping. eBay will charge you if you do not put the correct weight. They will send you a bill, not even a bill. They will take it out of your account. It takes like 2 to 3 weeks though, and you don't know. Our scale was off for probably a month, and I kept getting like PayPal fee, PayPal fee, PayPal fee. It was like $1, $1, $1, $1. It was off by a few ounces. And I finally bought a new scale, and since then I get credits, if anything. I have not had any losses. So I would say if you're doing eBay, you need a good scale.
That's a cool thing, is that they'll credit you as well, because I sort of know what things weigh, and I have a scale where I list here. So I'll weigh stuff and then guesstimate on the box and always shoot over. And I actually get, probably 3 or 4 times a week, they'll actually give me the money back. So I was surprised when that first happened, but they legitimately do that. So I don't mind when I get the fee every now and again, because they pay you money back when it goes the other way.
Yeah. Most of the times for me, I mean, I have a measuring tape ruler, and so as I'm figuring out what I want to list, I'll take the pictures and then I'll measure and weigh everything there, and I'll kind of jot down a note. So when I'm start the listing, I know what I'm with the weights and stuff. So I'll mostly do calculated. If it's gonna do first class, I'll just do a 450 set rate. And then I know a lot of times I do a lot of shoes. So if I know the shoe is going to fit in a padded flat rate, I'll just charge flat 750 on that. But for the most part, everything else is going to be calculated.
Same here. I'm always calculated on my shipping, unless I know exactly, like if something like Calvin was saying, if it's something that I know that's going to fit in a padded flat rate, and I may make the decision whether to do free shipping or not, just because I know what it's going to be, or I can just charge a flat rate for it to be competitive with somebody else that has the same listing. But with that being said, how do y'all throw this question out here? I know, because I think a question actually came up as far as how do you know when to do free shipping or not, if you do free shipping on any of your items.
Yeah, I do a lot of free shipping on first class stuff. And I do free shipping on items that sell with free shipping, because there's some, if you look health and beauty type stuff, it always is fairly, low weight, doesn't cost a lot. And if you look, every seller is doing free shipping. So I don't want to be the one that does shipping on an item that everybody else does free shipping. So I really let the market determine that. but you milk it into your price. If it sells $39.99 free shipping, you know you're going to make $30. That's just sort of the way it is after fees and everything.
So I kind of, yeah, I had to mute it. He was fussing for a minute. I kind of do the same. I try to mostly do only free shipping on stuff under a pound because I know it's going to be $5 or less, and I can build that into the cost. However, in the past few weeks, I have ran into people that like every single listing had free shipping, and I felt like if I was going to sell that item, I was going to have to do free shipping. And some of those were stuff that the shipping went up to like $25, but it was mostly on like $7,500 items. So if my cost was low enough, I knew that I could handle it, and I just hoped that it went on the East Coast and not to the other coast. But I still would have been okay if it did go to the other coast.
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously for me, a lot of times when I do free shipping, it's just to be competitive. You know, if everyone else is doing it, kind of like you guys said, I'll go ahead and throw free shipping on. If I want to get rid of it faster, you know, maybe I'll take a few less dollars, throw free shipping on there, you know, just to kind of get somebody else's attention that way. But yeah, for the most part, I think you're going to use free shipping as a competitive tool, you know, just to kind of be competitive with what the market is going for. So, and there's some people that actually do free shipping, you know, that's just their business model. I started out doing that, but then I changed it up just because I seen how many people were charging for shipping and it didn't affect their sales. So, you know, a lot of times for the most part, I'll charge shipping and then I'll throw in some free shipping if I need to, just to be competitive.
Yeah, Best Offer Queen was asking as far as scales. I have my scale that I use linked down in all of my videos. It's just a cheap, like $25, just a cheap shipping scale from Amazon. Rev's got his there.
Yeah, mine is, I have a Dymo scale and a Rollo printer, so I'm multifaceted.
I got so I probably overpaid for mine, but it is one that you can get from the post office. It's good. I mean, it weighs accurate. But you definitely, I think it's cost me like $30 maybe, but you can probably get some that are just as good, if not better, you know, on eBay or Amazon. So I would say starting out, I mean, don't invest too much money on something, because if you figure out that you don't like it, you know, then you just put all that money in. I would say go to Walmart, Target, even check at thrift stores, and you might be able to find a scale, you know, definitely for about that $10 range. That'll work for now. But it really just depends on what you plan on shipping. If you know you're going to do bigger items, you know, you don't want to start out with a kitchen scale. If you're going to do items that are, you know, average size, smaller size, then a kitchen scale will work just fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my lovely wife that put that question about love-hate relationship with selling clothes and shoes. I don't particularly care to sell clothes and shoes, but she's found a lot of clothes and shoes that sell really well, so she's wanting me to pat her on the back, give her a round of applause. So there's a lot of people that love selling clothes and shoes. I'm just not one of them. Everybody else, I guess, sells.
I do clothes. I keep saying I don't do clothes, and then you're gonna keep seeing me sell clothes. I love vintage clothes, and I don't mind listing jackets because I can hang them up, do front, back, do the tag. I hate jeans. I hate pants. I traded a lot of my jeans to another reseller. And shoes, I don't seem to find any good ones here in my area. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere, and I think everybody probably wears their shoes till they can't wear them anymore. And they're not buying the bigger brands in my area. But I did get my QVC palette that had a lot of Bionic shoes and Fly Londons, and they were brand new, and those were easy, and I loved them because they were multi-listing. So it was like I took a picture of each color and then I listed the sizes available. And I mean, I've been selling them like crazy at $50 a pair, and I only paid $5 each.
I think it's all about what you can source. So if you can source really nice clothes and really nice shoes, I would sell them like they were hotcakes. But because it's so hard to source and so hard to list for me, I can find other things to list.
Well, yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Like for me personally, like for me to run to a Goodwill and spend so many minutes going through all the racks to find certain clothes, I mean, I just don't have that kind of time. Mm-hmm. Now, me running through like shoe racks and stuff like that, I can do that. I like selling shoes, but clothing, unless I have time on my hands to be in a Goodwill for a while to comb through every rack, that's very few and far between. So, but you know, the whole listing part of it and it's not. I've got down pretty well. It's just as Rev said, the actual sourcing of it is very tedious. Mm-hmm. Because it's one thing to find something that you know the tag and you're like, wow, this is a good brand, but then you got to still comp it out, and I mean, it may still not make sense. So yeah, there's a lot of time invested in sourcing it. But
for me,
Scooter, oh, go ahead, Calvin.
Yeah, no, for me, I love selling shoes. Shoes are probably like my number one thing. Shoes and hard goods. Clothes, I started off, just because that's, I don't know, watching videos, I just kind of gravitated towards clothes. So I got off clothes for a while. Shoes are good for me. And then now I'm kind of back on clothes, but more so what I try to look for is either jerseys. I try to stick to jerseys and like vintage t-shirts. But kind of like Chris was saying, I mean, trying to find vintage t-shirts, you could spot out jerseys pretty quick, but to find t-shirts, you got to have time to go through all the racks and flip through all those hangers. So it's definitely, it is definitely a time thing, which I have more of now. But I mean, thrift stores are closing down in my area, so.
Yeah, I want to be in and out of a thrift store in less than 10 minutes. And if I look through the clothes racks, it would take, I don't like to shop as it is. I like to buy. I want to go in and find stuff to get and buy. But if it looks like shopping, I don't particularly want to do it.
Sorry, guys. Scooter was asking if QVC has pallets, and QVC has pallets through B stock, but you do need, I believe you need a federal ID number, and you also need a tax resale certificate. It's not straight through QVC, but I have some videos. I got a pallet from QVC with $59,000 of retail, and I paid under 10% retail. So you can get it, but you're going to have some capital in your pocket to do it. And the flip side of that is I still have 100 pairs of jeans that I've sold like one of. So the shoes are selling great, but half that pallet might sell great, and the other half sits there for who knows how long.
I like to pick the people that buy the pallets. You buy the pallet and let me pick through your pallet, so I don't have to worry about storing all the stuff that don't sell. That's sort of the way I do it.
Yeah, I think pallets, doing pallets or anything like that, you got to have the space. And then, like Kat said, you got to have the capital as well. Mm-hmm. So just depending on how big you're trying to scale to, me personally, I don't know. It's starting out, I wouldn't have done it. Right now I would maybe, but it just, I don't know, with inventory being limited now, I mean, you gotta find other ways that you can find inventory. And if pallets the way to go, then, just to keep your store listings going, then, that's one thing you got to do. But again, you got to have the capital to do it. So, if you have the capital to do it and that's what you want to do and you have the room, depending on the price, I'd say, go for it. It works for people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think sourcing is probably going to get really hard right now. If not right now, very soon. I am lucky I have a big death pile. I never thought I would say that, but I do have a very large death pile. So I probably have hundreds of items that I can list throughout this. So people are going to have to get some alternatives for sourcing. I do a lot of online sourcing, so I rarely go in person to the thrift store or to garage sales. So for me, I don't know that this is really going to affect me unless the shipping avenue shut down. Or but it's also possible the online places I purchase from could shut down as well. So, I mean, it could hit me as well. So I think everybody's gonna run into a crunch here shortly, selling.
Yeah, I think it's going to affect all of us. Probably everybody, it'll affect differently, but then again, it's probably going to hit us all the same as well. It's going to slow down certain things. It'll speed up other things. I just don't know how that balance will work itself out. We'll have more time to list, but eventually we'll run out of things to list. I hope it don't go that long. I've got a garage full and a few bags over here in the floor that I need to list right now. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not discouraged or depressed, but I really haven't been motivated. I guess with all the fog going on, I haven't been motivated to do a lot of listing, even though I've had more time. I don't know if anybody else is having that issue, but I've just sort of hung out with the family.
Yeah, Rev, I feel the exact same way as you, man. Like, coming into being a full-time reseller, you should be pretty excited, but I think just human nature, you're kind of a lot of emotions going on out there, and like you say, kind of just being with the family is kind of a thing that kind of takes your mind away from all the craziness that's going on. So just trying to stay positive as much as you can, but obviously, having that worry in the back of your head.
With my daughter and cried, so that was exactly what I needed to do.
Yeah.
I think Joey has a good point, which if you guys don't know Joey Bada Bing, go check him out. He is going to be on with us next week. And your own clothes, like I have so much stuff in my closet. Honestly, if I did get through my death pile, I could probably find a ton of stuff in my closet and around the house that I could list. So if you can't source, declutter. Like there's probably so much stuff in your own house.
Hey Rev, do you list at least something every day?
Say it again.
Do you at least list something every day?
Yeah, I try to. Of course, Sundays I don't. A lot of times on Saturday mornings I'll list a few things. I try to list 3 or 4, 5 or 6 items a day. Sometimes I'll list 30 items a day, but just try to keep a steady flow. And I found out when I don't do that, the sales drop off. So I think there is something about the algorithm of listing every day. But I'm not one that would say if I'm going to list 30 today, I'm going to leave 10 in draft so I have some for tomorrow. I think list it, let it sit there. I'd rather it be listed than sitting in draft. So, so I think if you list good stuff, you'll sell good stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do tell people though, like if you're part-time and you can't list at all during the week and you don't have many listings, if you can only list on the weekend, I would suggest doing like 20 or 30 on the weekend and dropping 5 a day just to keep your store active. If it's a new store and you don't have much activity, I would do that. I don't, because I've got so many items. I'm the same as you, Rev. I want it to, if I just went through all the trouble to take the pictures and list it, I want it up there for sale now. But I do think it could be beneficial to some people with smaller stores that don't have activity. Like I know I'm sending offers, making offers, so my account's very active all the time, whether I'm listing or not.
Yeah, I try to have one ready for the morning at least, and one around dinner time. So I always hit at least 2 a day, but it's always at least 1 in the morning, 1 at night. And then if I have a lot of stuff to list, then I'll filter, more in the middle, but at least 2 a day and 1 in the morning, 1 at night.
Calvin, you've been slacking on listing, haven't you?
I have, just trying to prepare my mind to go into full time. But 5 a day, I mean, I wanted to go for 10 a day, but I think just with the, with the limitations we're going to have of, getting stuff, I'm going to, I got enough items that I could do 5 a day. And hopefully, by the time that death pile gets low, things start to kind of clear out a little bit, and we'll be able to source again. But
I think even 2 to 3, 5, like Chris said.
Yeah, I think just being consistent and having a lot of activity on there. I don't know if there is a number. If you've got 50 items to list, the best thing to do is list them. So however it takes to get that done, I would say doing it.
Yeah. Richard, that's kind of depends on where you're at and what you can find. You're going to have to research. So in order to know what's going to sell fast and what's not, you want to look at your active listings and you want to look at your sold listings. So just an example, like the Dymos, I think there might be like 50 Dymo 4XLs listed and like 300 or 400 sold. So 8 times as many sold as are listed. That's something that would sell fast. I kind of have a mix of fast and like longer tail items, and I like it that way because I have a good mix. Like I do the China, and like one today sold within 2 hours, and that was just because that's not there. So some of that stuff for a newer reseller might be hard to know to pick it up because you're not going to find any history. There were none listed, none sold. So I wouldn't recommend that stuff for somebody that's new. I kind of have gotten a feel for it and can, make an educated guess. Not saying I'm always right, because I'm still wrong sometimes. But as a new reseller, just check your solds and check your actives and find stuff that is at least the same amount sold as listed, but I would say double or triple, even more. The more sold, the better. So you're going to have to research, because there's no telling what's in your area. Like I can't find shoes to save my life. I can't, but a lot of people buy shoes and flip shoes fast.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I would just say for a new seller, the best thing to do is just put something up for sale at a good price, and it will sell. It'll flip. Now, of course, if you put something on there that there's 50 or 60 items of the same exact thing, it's probably not going to flip that quick. But it's just a learning game. It would. I wish I knew stuff that would sell quick myself. There's some things I think are going to be quick flips, and they may take a month to sell or 2 months. And then there's sometimes I think this stuff will take a year to sell, and it'll sell within 24 hours. So it's all about timing when that buyer that wants that item sees it. It could be a year from now, or it could be 10 minutes after you list it.
Rev, I thought he was going to say metal detectors.
Oh, yeah. Well, them rats will flip quick. But if you ever find any of those, mail them to my house. I'll show you how to sell them. Yeah, they sell within 24 hours. I think I had 3 that I bought the other day and did a video, and I think it was 28 hours from the time I listed to the time they sold, and it was $600 profit and about $600 buy-in. So it was good flips.
Best thing is just get started and get started listing. As you grow and the longer you're in the game, you're going to find out the things that do you best. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, I know for me, there's certain video games that I look for all the time that I know I'm going to flip within 24 hours. But again, it's all, man, it's going to be just where you're at. Like Kat was saying, I mean, it's all regional sometimes. I mean, it's all depending on where you're at and what's popular, or it's just, you just kind of have to learn on your own, but you'll figure it out. Trust me.
Definitely. Yeah. I think just like you said, Chris, regional, depending on your demographics, I live in a rural Iowa, so it's I got a lot of older demographic of people around here. So a lot of the shoes I get, that's big in that market, like Danskos, orthopedic type of shoes. Like people are looking for that, and I got good access to that. So do a little bit of research of your demographics, and you'll notice a trend. Like when you go into your local thrift stores, you'll see a lot of the same brands kind of floating around. And then when you see new brands or different brands, it'll stick out, obviously. But yeah, it's researching your demographic does a lot too.
Yeah, I'm not going to the reseller rally. I wish I could. I didn't get a couple of tickets. Me and Nikki T would have to go. It's a little bit of a ride. I know it'd be fun. So if Lonnie or Justin or some of those have 2 extra tickets laying around, they want to throw my way, I would go. But probably not going to be going. Are y'all going? I think Kat, you and Chris are going, right?
Me and Chris are going. Yeah.
That'll be cool. I know y'all have
we
a
will
great
be
time.
there.
Hopefully we're going, and hopefully this virus is out of there by then.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I do metal detect. I don't do it as much as I would like. I just saw Joe put that question there. I learned that on YouTube as well and bought a detector, and then that's how I knew that these detectors were valuable, is because I had already purchased one myself years ago. So when I saw them, I knew there was value there. So it didn't bother me of paying up because I knew I'd get the money back.
So I just wanted to kind of touch on this, and if you guys have something to say about it as well. OBX, I am so guilty of doing the same thing. If I buy a lot, I'm listing that most profitable item, and then I'm listing a few things after. And I've said, like, I need to start, if I'm getting these lots, pick out like whatever I want to list, and I need to find me another reseller or a flea market person to take the rest of it, because that's how I have my death pile, which now might be advantageous, but overall it's not. And I know for me, that's definitely my tendency. If I buy a lot of stuff, I'm gonna list the profitable because I want my money back. That's my thinking. I want my money back so that the rest of that's all profit. And I think that kind of causes less of a urgency to list that stuff because, oh, I'm in the profit already.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of slack on that. I don't know if anybody else does that too.
No, I do the same. I do the same thing, and I'll also add to this is I do the most profitable items first, but also do the most easiest items to list first. So if I pick up a bunch of hats and I know I can just punch them out real fast, I do those also. But definitely, if I go to a garage sale that day and I'm excited at what I found, like a certain game or whatever, I'm coming home and I may do it in the car. And I make that money before I even get home. That'd be great. But definitely, man, if I can make all my money back on that one item for everything else I bought that day, man, yeah, no doubt, that's a huge relief for me.
I think we're all created the same. I think we pretty much all do the same thing.
If I missed any questions, guys, go ahead and make sure and put them down again. Let's see. So I agree with that. Flipping goodies. Definitely start with what you're familiar with. Stuff you like and stuff you're buying. Like, the value of it. You know what you're paying for it. So if you're really into shoes, you're probably going to know a lot more about shoes than me. I own like a pair of flip-flops, my nursing shoes, and I don't even know if I have tennis shoes. I live in Florida. I wear flip-flops. So I don't know much about shoes. I am a t-shirt and jeans kind of person. But I have learned brands, so I've added that. But when you start, you're right. Stuff you're familiar with, like people that play video games are going to know more about video games. They're going to know more about systems. I haven't really ever played. I don't have interest in them, but I do want to start learning about them because I see everybody keeps selling them. So that's one of my next items to kind of learn about that in glass. But definitely you'll also enjoy listing and selling stuff that you like a lot more, and you're going to be more prone to list more and be more productive if you like what you're selling.
Yeah, I've sold a lot of things that I have absolutely no idea at all about. I mean, not even really knowing what it is, but just punching it in on the eBay app and finding that it sells. And especially if it's something that doesn't need to be tested, I don't have to know what it is. That's the cool thing about knowing eBay and knowing how to sell on eBay is some items you really don't have to know anything about. So, but stuff that needs to be tested and things like that, I think you need to have some sense of a knowledge there. But I'm selling Fenton glass. I never would have bought a glass duck, but they sell. So I found glass ducks and I've sold them. I've sold about 7 or 8 of them. I think I still have one glass duck on my shelf behind me beside Fred Flintstone up there. But it sells, so I'm good with it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw my video today. Like there was some humidifier filter. I don't know what the heck it was, but it had a model number. If it has a model number, I can look it up.
Yep.
And I guarantee you the person that's looking for that thing knows what it is. But even if I don't, and it doesn't matter if I do, I don't do very many descriptions because I figure if somebody is searching for that item, they probably already know about it.
Yep.
I think one of the best feelings I feel when I'm in doing this whole reselling game is we always talk about the cha-ching sound and how that makes you feel, but the feeling that you get when you sell something you really don't have that much knowledge about and it sells.
Mm-hmm.
I love, man, that makes me, I was like, man, I feel validated that I'm really doing something I really like to do here in reselling. That for me, that's a lot of it myself, but I've sold things I've never thought of, like just shampoo and conditioners and all. I mean, just weird stuff, women's perfumes and stuff. But again, for me growing up, I played a lot of ball, so I know about gloves and bats and things like that. And I've been doing well sourcing those items and selling them. I know David has too, because he played ball a lot growing up. And
well, health and beauty. I mean, I'm selling health and beauty, anti-aging stuff. I don't know anything about health and beauty, but I'm good at sales.
Yeah, you got that honey hole, man. I gotta find that place. I ain't found that place yet.
I ain't got no honey hole. I don't know what you're talking about. You're too close.
The most I listed like over 30 or 40 last week. I can do more than that. I can probably do 50 because I like to do stuff that's the same though. So like I'll have my description ready. It might be a 6-inch plate and then I'm going to go to 9-inch plates and then I'm going to go to bowls. So like I'm erasing 2 words, taking 3 or 4 pictures and moving on to the next thing. So I can fly through them with the China at least. It's pretty easy to get quite a bit done in a day. So but I've been doing this, for a long time. I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to my listings, but if you look at my numbers, I can sell. I think if you get where you want to be too perfect on your listings, you're going to take so much time listing that you could have listed 5 things and had more sales. I do want my stuff to look professional, and I do typically use white or black backgrounds. That's my preference. I will use photo fuse if I'm using white background, but I actually stopped using it with the black because they come out pretty clear. Like I've got a lot of white china, and I can't get the white on white down, so I'm doing those on a black background. But I think if you're too much of a perfectionist, then you're going to take an hour to list a $15 item that you're making $8 on. And I know I want to make more than $8 an hour. Yes. So you got to look at that too. Like, don't take too long listing stuff that it's worth $5. Like kind of, take into account the time you're spending to list that item versus how much that item's worth.
And those. So that's the most I've done in one day, but it's the same thing, just changing the title, changing in the description. You're not changing anything but the title and the price, fly it out the door.
Right. And then also take advantage of every character the title gives you, because you can make a really great description right in the title and not have to worry about description at all, and you just kind of pump it out. But as people learn and they grow and do this enough, they'll start finding ways of being efficient in listing. But yeah, if you're spending a lot of time on descriptions, man, listing can be very exhausting. Make you not want to do it.
Any words of wisdom, Calvin?
Yeah, no. Well, the most I've listed in a day, I think it was like 12. But yeah, I kind of, you know, when I first got started, I thought you had to, you know, everyone talked about SEO and putting all these elaborate descriptions and all that stuff. So I was like, man, this is kind of grueling. So obviously I got a hold of Cincinnati Pickers store, and I looked at his descriptions and kind of his titles and all that, and it was basic. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna take that model and use it with mine. So mine is very short, very to the point. If there's something wrong with it, yeah, I'll be a little more detailed, but it's pretty straightforward and basic. And you know, I think the SEO part is more so for the title, but the description part of it, yeah, you could be short. And even if you're going and looking at some of the sold comps, you'll look at some of those descriptions where it literally just says, you know,
box.
They're shipping, what type of shipping it is. So,
Richard wants to know, when you're a new seller and get limited on a category, what should you do? I have not ran into that in a long time, so I can't tell you, but I can tell you what I would do if I were a new reseller and I was limited. I would list on other platforms. I wouldn't let that restrict me. I would jump somewhere else to put my items up and let them be seen. That if I had restrictions, I think eBay lets me list like 4,000 items a month right now, like $200,000. It's something ridiculous that I'll never list. But so I haven't ran into that. I don't know if anybody else has had that. I haven't been new in so long. I can't really relate with that.
Me neither, because I've been on that same eBay account for, gosh, 12, 13, 14 years. So I mean, I can't really speak to it.
Yeah, I know eBay just wants new sellers to do good on the ones that they sell. So if you are, you know, if they're holding you back, just do well with what you have, and it won't be long. They'll want you to sell like us. They'll want you to sell as many as you can because they're getting that 10% or 8% on every item. So it's to their advantage for you to show that you're a good seller, and then next thing you know, you'll be selling because they'll be able to list as much as you want.
Hey, Rev, do you
no, I was just gonna say, you know, just staying consistent and showing that, you know, showing eBay that, hey, you want to make money, and when you show them that you want to make money, obviously that's gonna help them, because the more money you make, the more money they're gonna make.
That's right.
I was going to ask, Rev, promoted listings, yes or no, for you?
Yes, I promote everything at 1.2%. Do I know if it makes a difference? I don't have a clue. But I do know sometimes it seems to help. I make sales, so if it works, if it ain't broke, I'm not going to try to fix it. So I guess some people say, well, why don't you try not doing it or doing it more? I don't know, 1.2. If it sells, I'm fine with it. So I do that. I don't know if it helps, but that's what I do.
I do as well. I mean, I'm 1% across the board. I'm a wholehearted believer that it does help, because I've done it the other way as well, and I've definitely sold more since doing it. So, 1% is not going to hurt me in the long run. So.
Right, and if you calculate that in, like I do the trending, but I mean, I kind of know that like Poshmark's 20%. So you could promote on eBay at 10% and you'd still be equal to what Poshmark's charging.
Yeah.
So yeah. I see everybody chatting down there. There are a lot of seasoned resellers answering some of these questions and giving people ideas. I just want to say thank you very much. Courtney at Bolo Buddies is down there, and I will be live on her show tomorrow night at 10 p.m. As her featured seller. So you guys can check me out over on Bolo Buddies tomorrow night. Her channel's great. I know Chris and Calvin, I brought both of them over there.
Yeah.
You learn so much stuff.
If you're a new reseller, you need to watch that show, because there's a lot of items to be on the lookout for. You'll see that you need to watch that show for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and you can put your own bolos in the chat. Courtney brings up a good point. So you just put your item number, you put what you paid for it, you put what you sold for it, and Courtney flashes it up. I think Courtney has over 4,000, maybe 5,000 subscribers. So when you're over there on her channel and you're putting your bolos, people are going to see that. So they'll want to check out your channel if you do have a YouTube, and it kind of gets you publicity. Plus it helps the other resellers, you know, see your bolo. So it's a really good channel. And I don't know, does anybody else have anything they want to say? I know we're at 1 hour and 15 minutes. I have to be up at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. I have to work in the ER 12 hours. So
well, I just want to thank y'all for thank you for having me on. It's been great. Of course, I'm rooting, praying for everybody as we go through this pandemic. I guess just buckle up and do what we can. Be safe. Don't try to be He-Man or He-Woman and venture out just to find that product, because what good's that product going to do you if you get sick? So I think let's be wise, use proper judgment, and when we come out on the other side, we'll be able to go sourcing again.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, yeah. I mean, I appreciate that, Rev. Thanks for keeping us in your prayers. That's definitely comforting. I would just tell everyone right now, you know, learn as much as you can. You know, watch YouTube videos, search Google. Right now, when there's a little bit of downtime, when you know we're not going to be able out there to go run around and move around like we want to, get that knowledge. You know, get as much stuff in your brain. Take notes down. I mean, so that way, once things, you know, clears back up and, you know, we're kind of able to move around again, you'll be that much more, you know, prepared. Obviously, there's nothing's gonna prepare you like actually getting in the game, but the more knowledge you have, you know, the more bullets you have in your holster, the better off you'll be. So take this time, research, study. Obviously, reach out to any of us. I know this community is great. We're always willing to help. So, you know, just try to do as much as you can to get ready. So when you are out there in the wild looking for stuff, and you're out there and you're needing to figure out how to ship something, you know, you got people that are willing to help you out. So
yeah, I definitely echo all those sentiments there. If you're a new reseller and you're watching this show, you're definitely on the right track. Just keep watching any YouTube channel. They have so much information. It's all free. This is not paid. I mean, guys, it's out there for the taking. I mean, before I got started, I took about a month or two just to research YouTube and find what can I go out there and find and source, and lo and behold, it worked. You know, but you just got to put in the research, the work ethic, and you can do this part-time, full-time, make some extra money for your family. But like I said, if you're a new reseller, watch YouTube. I mean, that's basic. I want to thank Rev for being on, man. I thoroughly enjoy your channel. You're one of a kind, man. We all know you're a reverend, but man, I mean, you're just a one of a kind person. So I really appreciate you being on, and I've been very thankful to be able to talk to you outside of this kind of stuff, and it's been fun. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
I agree. Thank you, David, for coming. And his channel is down in the description, as well as Chris's and Calvin's. If you guys have not subscribed to them, please do that. Definitely hit the like button for us, guys. And if nobody has anything else, I appreciate you all watching, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you all.
All right, y'all. Appreciate you. Appreciate y'all having me. It was fun.
Yeah, that was great, man.
Good show. Good show. I don't know what was going on with my